Greetings, I'm Demonac, and it's Judgment time. Yes, I'm playing Scrolls, trying out the relatively new Judgment version of the game. This is another limited format where, in this case, I'm going to go through 45 rows like this. Each row I get to pick one of the 4 cards, put it in there, and then afterwards I narrow it down to a 30-card deck. Now, because there are different colors you have to be concerned about in this game, I do have to make sure that I stick to only one or two colors for the most part. Let's see. I'm going to take this. The Cloth Library is okay, but I think I'm going to take the Scout Automaton because it can kill things. I'm probably going to go Decay this time. I don't know if this is the card to do it, but I want to play around more with the Decay cards. I'll take the Pillar of the Disease, sure. It's a pretty decent wall. And that would be tempting if I was going Order and Decay, because it is cards that draw cards and cards that give you a resource are a really big deal in this game. You can turn your deck into something of an engine because you go through it so fast. You draw 1 card every turn. You can choose to get 2 more cards. And yeah, I'm seeing a fair amount of energy down here. And the Energy Siphon, which would be a good card for going Energy and Decay, I think I'm going to sort of head in that direction. I'm going to take the Mire Shambler. The Energy Siphon. I'm not as big a fan of power. I'm not as big a fan of power bound. Efficiency is pretty good, but no, I'm going to Energy Siphon. Because it's removal and it just gives you more energy. I don't like this card in Constructed, but it might be good in this format. Yeah. I think I'm going to go with Charge Coil, though. Especially since I see on the next row, Machine Divinator. This is also a rare that I might want to keep at the end. As long as you get at least 3 wins, you're going to get a rare. And it's a rare picked out of the ones in your deck. Well, I think this guy fits the bill. It's both usable and something that I would like to keep. I'm probably not using any of these cards. I'm going to take the Purification because it's very cheap and potentially useful. It's something I could splash, maybe. Ripper is pretty decent. Like, not strong, but it's okay. Bitterroot only costs 1, and it's a wall that kills whatever attacks it often, especially early game. I'm going to take the Ripper, though. I mean, this is a limited format. You want the stuff that can actually kill your opponent. Sister of Fox, super good. And it's still pretty cheap. It's cheap enough to splash, sort of. I don't think I'm going to go Growth, though. And the Cursemonger is strong. Cursemonger is like targeted removal. As long as you're going to do at least 1 damage to something, this guy can turn that into 3. That's a big deal. This is another row that doesn't help the colors I'm looking at. Again, I'm going to take him for splashability, but I don't think I'll be doing that. Languid is super good. This is because it does something useful and draws a card. This is not my favorite card. Block Outcast. He's just like a bad creature. Maybe I will want to splash 1 Order. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. Tempted to take him anyway. If I only got 2 wins, I'd be keeping an uncommon, and he's an uncommon that I'd like. That's my logic. It's kind of stupid. Am I going to be putting in enough energy to get to the Cannon Automaton? He's the only useful thing out of the row anyway, so I'm going to see. This is stupid. I didn't realize you could get duplicates. I knew it was pretty darn random because you can get rares and non-rares in the same row. I didn't realize you could get duplicates of the same card. But whatever, he's a guy that I can play and attack with. Sickening Fumes, reduce all of the opponent's units' attack by 3. Or this thing. The proximity charges could also be kind of strong in this format. Wow. This is a tough row after all those useless rows, and then I get I don't like this one as much. This one is only going to get some of the units that might attack you next turn. They're going to attack you next. Well, it'll get all the units that are going to attack you next turn, actually. It's interesting. Why is this one rare? Okay, it costs one less to play. This kind of seems stronger, though. I don't know. I'm going to take the guy that shoots things. When all else fails, I'm going to take the thing that shoots things. Removal is good. Uneasy Alliance. I don't like this card. I'm not a big fan of it. This guy is pretty weird. He does attack every turn, so if I had stuff that was buffing him, that would be useful. Or you can do bizarre combos where you increase his cooldown and draw cards. But no, the Spark is the clear winner in this row because it's strong removal. Stormrunner is also pretty strong removal. On the other hand, the Mangy Rat, he does a lot. He's so much easier to play. I'm probably going to regret not taking a Stormrunner. Well, Stormrunner can crush people. He's like an artillery piece that moves. But this is a cheap creature that can actually do 4 damage when it hits something. What's coming up? Good cards I can't use. Destroyer. We'll just take the Mire Shambler from that row. Oh man. I'm at 16 cards, so I've still got a long ways to go, so I shouldn't get too worried yet, but I played Judgment one other time. I just went Energy Order, which is what I normally played, and I had like 3 Kabonks, which is removal and draws a card. I had crazy stuff. It's probably stupid, but I'm going to take the Rat because he's so much easier to play. This is pretty good defense. Mire Shambler just comes out faster, try and rush down my opponents. Okay, so Caller's Bane. Yeah, it's not going to help this deck. Atrophy. I just don't like that card. I realize it's kind of strong, like it'll stop one thing from hurting you for sure, and could even be a fairly large thing, but I'm going to take the Infected Gravelock, because again, he can kill stuff. That's not my favorite card. Ember Bonds is okay removal. What have I got coming up for removal? Oh, why is it always the wrong memorials? Unforeseen Onslaught. All your creatures with attack 1 or less get Slayer, which is like the Thicket Basilisk ability. Anything they damage will die. That's pretty good. Husk is bad. He only is there because their policy is that any creature that can be created as a token is also an actual scroll that you can play with. How many creatures am I going to have with 1 attack? Scout Automaton. Probably not playing the Order guys, but I've got the Dusk Runner. I'm going to take the Rat. I think I might start going that way. Siegecracker I like in this limited format because he does crazy damage. Like, he actually hits for 6 if he gets to an idol. And all you have to do is set it up so that you just move him to an open row and deliver the beatdown. On the other hand, Summons here, this is such a good spell. It's kind of worth splashing, and I do have all those 1-cost Order cards I could be splashing. Purification, I'd probably leave out, but Infantrymen, meh. Okay, actually, I didn't take as many as I thought. I don't have that much that I'd be splashing. Still, though, 1 Order, it'd be a waste of a resource, right? It'd be wasting a card to get that resource, because I'm not going to use it for much else. But then it would let me whip out something, like probably a Pillar of Disease, which is a pretty darn good defensive card. Maybe a Charge Coil. I don't know. I don't think it works out. I'm going to take the Siegecracker, because he kills stuff. And I already looked at this row. I'm going to try the Unforeseen Onslaught and see what happens. I need more of these cards for my stuff, but... Well, the Tribal Memorial is useless because I'm not even thinking of splashing Growth. I guess I'll take this because it's still, in a pinch, can weaken creatures. Alright, this has some useful stuff. Oh, see, why is clusters all the stuff I want into, like... Yeah, because all in one row, where he's just an okay creature. I hate these guys, even though he's not that bad. The Copper Automaton is kind of great removal, but Brain Lice is removal and it draws a card. I gotta take that. The Rot Eater is so strong in Limited. Like, he's strong even normally. In Limited, he's insane. I wish I could get more stuff like that, because I haven't seen enough yet. None of these cards help me. I guess the Husk. Ripper, Destroyer, Charge Coal, no Plating. Wow. I take the Ripper because it kills things. We're 2/3 of the way through now. I always thought this was a horrible card because when I first read it, I thought he was the exact counterpart of that stupid Order guy, the guy who like flashes you and sacrifices himself to do 2 damage to a creature, right? This guy, he can do that to do damage to idols. Doesn't seem that great, except that no matter how he's destroyed, he still deals the damage to the idol, which actually means he's amazing. This is another row that's not helping me. I've seen a lot of like pushbacks and medium-sized Order stuff. I'm starting to wish I'd gone Order. None of this helps at all. Powerbound. I get another Spark. That's kind of a no-brainer. If I'd gone Order, I'd have Walking Stones, which is also super good. But no, Spark is what I need, and I'm not complaining about that. I'm not going to have enough Order to get me energy out of this. So this is the card for me. No heart. I'm not going to be organized. I'm not going to have enough structures to make this better than just having another creature to kill people with. Okay, what do we got here? Animivore. Someone was playing a game last time. Someone stuck one of these on a scavenger construct, and it becomes sick. You put all your creatures sort of around it, and then whenever one of them dies, it actually nets a gain of 1 health and draws you a card. So that's a sick combo. Now, I could also take Pillar of Fatigue, which I don't really like that much, and Grizzly Graft, which normally I think is a crummy card, but it has a lot of potential in Limited to make something fat and scary. Sacrifice all adjacent creatures, and it gains attack and health equal to the number of creatures sacrificed. That's a tough call. I think I'm going to take the Animivore because if I can draw a few cards off this, it should be worth it. Now I could take the Scavenger Construct to combo with that, but I'm going to take the Languid because it's Languid. The thing is amazing. Deathcap Berserk, that would be really good if I was playing that color. I guess I'm going to get Beetlestone, even though it's just a bad wall. The bad wall I can play is better than stuff I can't play. Although I could take Focus and splash that. They'd never see it coming if my plan was to give myself 1 Order and then play this on the same turn. That actually might be worthwhile. Beetlestone doesn't do anything useful unless you have 2 of them, and I don't like that ability anyway, because you're costing yourself a draw. Direct damage is great, but you're costing yourself a draw. It's got too much. I'm going to take the Focus. I might actually splash enough Order for the Focus. Like, just splash the Focus, basically. This is the only card I can cast there. You can technically do 1 direct damage in a pinch, or give me a tougher creature. Oh, I didn't know they reduced the cost on this thing. Bravo! Yeah, this used to cost 5, and it was kind of stupid for a rare. Now, it's such a bizarre-ass emergency card. Now it makes more sense. That or Shroud of Unlife, which is basically like a Husk, except it lets you... Effectively, it lets you have more stuff in the same row. It's very weird, the difference between this and just paying 1 and getting a Husk. it works out to be... I could see how there's some value to it, but no. This is all units I control with a non-zero countdown. Blow up and annihilate the units in the same row. I'm going to take this. It might save my butt. This is another thing be worth splashing, but I'm not splashing two different colors. I could get a Ripper, or I could get another Focus. I have a fair amount of, like, I have a lot of cheap creatures now. Ripper is just a human, and she's not that strong. I think... Probably going to regret it. I think I'm going to put in the two Focus. Two copies of Focus. I want to say two Foci, but it's sounds kind of strange when you get that. So this row, kind of, like, I getting the Eye of the Eagle is very good. Sister of the Fox is very good. I'm just not playing those colors, so I take the Infected Gravelock, who is actually kind of very strong, but he can't move. I don't like this card. Pestis, probably strong and limited. Because the enchanted creature, whenever it kills something, it gives you a rat, and it gets +1 attack for every rat in play, well, every rat you have. I'm going to take the Copper Automaton, though, because he is removal and can also potentially kill my enemies. So there was a second Beetle Stone. I could have actually had the combo, if you can call two copies of the same card a combo. Soul Scrounger, when any creature is destroyed, this unit's countdown is reduced by 1. Oh, that's very good. Or if you get the Solemn Giant. He is a death machine in Constructed, because when you get up to having 10 energy, you can actually play him, pay his cost, and do 8 damage just from out of nowhere, just like right out of your hand. You can easily win games that way. You do 2 damage to an idol, and then you just ignore that idol for the rest of the game, and that's your plan. So eventually you get a Solemn Golem, and late in the game you just drop it down like Fist of God. But that said, I don't think I'm going to be... I'm playing multiple colors and it's limited format. I don't have anything expensive yet, and I think I'm going to stay that way, which means I'm not going to have enough energy to make this guy good. And Soul Scrounger is going to let me pick a unit and make it attack quickly. Soul Steel is kind of a no-brainer here. Like Charge Coil, I do have one guy that combos with structures, and it can kill stuff. Like, it's interesting in limited. It's much better in limited than Constructed, but no, Soul Steel is awesome. Destroy any creature with health 2 or less, and I get a free Mire Shambler, which can do like 3 damage every 2 turns. Speaking of which, there's another one. There's a Pestis. I could have had 3 Uneasy Alliances, but I just don't like that card. Even with 3 of them, I don't like it. I'm not doing Pestis. I'm just going to go more like Race for Beatdown. Get another Ripper. I'm going to take the Burn, because I might need bigger removal. And I'll normally won't have 4 energy, I don't think, but I'll go up to 4 when I need that thing. And similarly, I'll take the last card in here that I can cast. Now, I gotta go build my deck. I don't think my deck's anywhere near as good as last time. I forgot I had the cannon. I don't think my deck's anywhere near as good as the last time I was in the arena here, but we'll see what happens. Filter by cost. Got 3 Mire Shamblers. Only 1 Copper Automaton? Wow. I had more. I'm going to take the 2 copies of Focus. I don't know about the purification. I need the Mangy Rats, because they can kill things. I'll see about avoiding the Husk. He's not that good. I think I'm going to splash the Aging Knight as well, since I have the... Since I'm going to use Order for something anyway. 1 Order is not bad for me. Is this guy... No, he's just the +1 health. I don't like him as much as the other one. Rippers. I can do damage with Rippers. This is kind of direct. This is sort of versatile, even though it's kind of a weak card. I'm going to take that. This can give me energy, so that's awesome. Plus his removal. These guys can kill things. You can kill things, even though you can't move. This is great removal and card draw and everything. Oh, yeah. The Sparks are a no-brainer. Brain Lice, gotta have the Brain Lice. Basically, I'm going to leave out 15 cards is the thing. I don't know if I actually took enough rares to, in case I do well. I'm probably going to be taking uncommons. End of Reason's like a crummy rare. But it's definitely going in the deck, because that could save my butt. And the Machine Divinator is obviously going in the deck, because he's the card I want to win. Oh, and there's also a Scout Automaton. Okay, that's plenty. That and the Scout. Those are two good new rares. I'll take those. Siege Cracker I want. Rot Hunter. Why couldn't I get more Rot Hunters? He's only common. He is a death machine. Like, I did not get the right stuff from Decay. If I'd known at the start this is what I was going to get, I actually would have gone with a different color. But whatever, we'll make it work. Unforeseen Onslaught only works for creatures with one attack. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... That's not bad. It's basically, as long as I have one of those creatures, it'll let me sort of surprise kill something, I guess. I'll try it out. Cursemonger. I'm already up to 32 scrolls, so I am going to get to cut some stuff. I want the Pillars of Disease, because that's very good defense. Soul Scrounger, I can put Soul Scrounger on. What do I have? Most of my things have 2 cooldown. I don't have a lot of fat things. Which makes this a little bit iffier. But on the other hand, if I put it on something with a 2 cooldown, that thing should be attacking every turn, because its cooldown will go down to 1 whenever any creature is destroyed, whether it's mine or my opponent's. So, if I have this, I can put it on a on the Siege Cracker. I can put it on... You know, a Mire Shambler, it's kind of random because it moves before it attacks, but it'll still be 3 damage a turn. The Rat would be able to poison something every turn. Ripper, 2 damage a turn. That's not the worst. The Infected Gravelock's 2 damage and poison, so... I know I have sort of weak things to put it on, but that's still a decent card there. I'm going to want the Charge Coil, because it's kind of more removal, sort of wally. If I happen to get that with my Machine Divinator, it's pretty... Actually, it doesn't make a difference. He's really not that good for me. He's actually mainly just... He's either a bad wall or nothing in my deck. He's actually just in there because I want to win him. So maybe I won't include the Charge Coil. He's not really helping it. It's not that great. I'm going to put in the Cannon Automaton because if the game goes long, I'm going to want that kind of option. And I'm definitely going to want the Burn. Animivore. It can go on structures, which is important. So I don't have any like crazy combos with it, but on the other hand, it should not be too hard to get this to draw at least 1 card to replace itself, maybe more. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to take it. And then the Proximity Charge. And then I think there's going to be a time skip because I'm going to need to think for like 3 hours or something. I have such a hard time cutting stuff when I get down to this point. You got to cut it down to 30 cards because you want your deck to be as lean as possible. So I'm going to remove everything remotely expensive at all. Yeah, it was really hard to trim it down, but this is what I've ended up with. About half of my deck costs 1 or 2. A lot of them, there's still a fair amount of 1-cost creatures, but I ended up getting rid of the rats and got rid of cards that interacted with stuff too much. So what I kept was basically all the removal stuff, obviously. And I kept my I kept Soul Scrounger. It's kind of like a bad Fleetness. Fleetness is one of the new cards for it's 2 order, and you just reduce a creature's base cooldown by 1. Soul Scrounger is pretty similar to that in this deck, because I don't have anything with a high cooldown, but there's still a lot of these things with a cooldown of 2, like if I take the Siege Cracker from doing 6 damage to an idol every 2 turns down to potentially 6 damage to an idol in 1 turn, that's pretty strong. Even just turning a Ripper or a Mire Shambler into a creature that attacks every turn is pretty strong. There are a lot of uses for that, and of course the Cursemonger would be a death machine. But yeah, I even ended up removing stuff like like my cannon auto. I was thinking for like a late game play, but I'm gonna get to it so rarely. I think I'm just gonna try and like win without that point. It was really hard when I got down to 33 cards not to remove my order contingent here. Like 2 copies of Focus and 1 Aging Knight. But the Aging Knight is an awesome early play, and even later in the game, he's very good initially, and then, I mean, if they don't kill him, that's fine, they're not killing him, and even if they kill him right away, well, he only cost 1. Like, usually he's going to get to attack once, and that makes him pretty good. And then the Focus is such powerful surprise damage. Like, it functions as removal, it also helps to, like, terminate the other player when you're in a bind. It's just really good. And I've got a reason, like, you can only get so much card drawing in Limited, but I've got 2 language to help me go through my deck faster, and because hopefully I'm not gonna need too much of any resource. The deck, I should be able to keep discarding, like, sacrificing scrolls for more scrolls, hopefully, and not be doing it for more resources all the time. But yeah, it's basically a deck that caps out at 3 energy and 3 decay, with the exception that if I have the Cursemonger or the Burn in my hand, and I already have 3 of that resource, that I could choose to sack 1, get the extra resource, and then, burn and get a card, or put out the Cursemonger, because he's a killing machine. So yeah, I even had to cut out one of my Pillars of Disease, even though I loved it as a defensive card. There were tough choices all around, but this is my deck, and since it's already about a half hour long, I guess I'm going to cut the video here. Rules games take longer than the Hearthstone games, so try and make for a little bit smaller videos. So next time, we'll see what happens when I take my first game of Scrolls Judgement. See you next time. If you enjoyed this, please activate the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to Demonac Games for more Hearthstone Arena and Scrolls Judgement videos.